Leaving as I did Colmont around 4 in the afternoon, by route X, I do not remember the number, I might have made Ramsdale by dawn had not a shortcut tempted me. I had to get onto Highway Y. My map showed quite blandly that just beyond Woodbine, which I reached at nightfall, I could leave paved X and reach paved Y by means of a transverse dirt road. It was only some 40 miles long, according to the map. Otherwise, I would have to follow X for another 100 miles and then use leisurely looping Z to get to Y and my destination. However, the shortcut in question got worse and worse, bumpier and bumpier, muddier and muddier, and when I attempted to turn back after some 10 miles of purblind, tortuous and tortoise-slow progress, my old and weak Melmoth got stuck in deep clay. All was dark and muggy and hopeless. My headlights hung over a broad ditch full of water. The surrounding country, if any, was a black wilderness. I sought to extricate myself, but my rear wheels only whined in slosh and anguish. Cursing my plight, I took off my fancy clothes, changed into slacks, pulled on the bullet-riddled sweater, and waded 4 miles back to a roadside farm. It started to rain on the way, but I had not the strength to go back for a mackintosh. Such incidents have convinced me that my heart is basically sound, despite recent diagnoses. Around midnight, a wrecker dragged my car out. I navigated back to Highway X and travelled on. Utter weariness overtook me an hour later in an anonymous little town. I pulled up at the curb and in darkness drank deep from a friendly flask. The rain had been cancelled miles before. It was a black, warm night somewhere in Appalachia. Now and then cars passed me, red tail lights receding, white headlights advancing. But the town was dead. Nobody strolled and laughed on the sidewalks as relaxing burghers would in sweet mellow rotting Europe. I was alone to enjoy the innocent night and my terrible thoughts. A wire receptacle on the curb was very particular about acceptable contents. Sweepings paper, no garbage. Sherry-red letters of light marked a camera shop. A large thermometer with the name of a laxative quietly dwelt on the front of a drugstore. Rubinov's Jewelry Company had a display of artificial diamonds reflected in a red mirror. A lighted green clock swam in the linenish depths of Jiffy Jeff Laundry. On the other side of the street a garage said in its sleep, Genuflection Lubricity, and corrected itself to Gulflex Lubrication. An airplane, also gemmed by Rubinoff, passed droning in the velvety heavens. How many small dead-of-night towns I had seen. This was not yet the last. Let me dally a little. He is as good as destroyed. Some way further across the street, neon lights flickered twice slower than my heart. The outline of a restaurant sign, a large coffee pot kept bursting every full second or two into emerald life, and every time it went out, pink letters saying fine foods relayed it, but the pot could still be made out as a latent shadow teasing the eye before its next emerald resurrection. We made shadowgraphs. This furtive burg was not far from the enchanted hunters. I was weeping again, drunk on the impossible past. At this solitary stop for refreshments between Colmont and Ramsdale, between innocent Dolly Schiller and jovial Uncle Ivor, I reviewed my case. With the utmost simplicity and clarity I now saw myself and my love. Previous attempts seemed out of focus in comparison. A couple of years before, under the guidance of an intelligent French-speaking confessor to whom, in a moment of metaphysical curiosity, I had turned over a Protestant's drab atheism for an old-fashioned popish cure, I had hoped to deduce from my sense of sin the existence of a supreme being. On those frosty mornings in rime-laced Quebec, the good priest worked on me with the finest tenderness and understanding. I am infinitely obliged to him and the great institution he represented. Alas, I was unable to transcend the simple human fact that whatever spiritual solace I might find, whatever lithophanic eternities might be provided for me, Nothing could make my Lolita forget the foul lust I had inflicted upon her. Unless it can be proven to me as I am now, today, with my heart and my beard and my putrefaction, that in the infinite run it does not matter a jot that a North American girl-child named Dolores Hayes had been deprived of her childhood by a maniac. Unless this can be proven, and if it can, then life is a joke. I see nothing for the treatment of my misery but the melancholy and very local palliative of articulate art. To quote an old poet, "The moral sense in mortals is the duty we have to pay on mortal sense of beauty."